I think it's more of, the official announcement has not been made by USA Basketball. So it'd be premature for me to have any conversations about any player or anything.
Imagine this. You're Caitlin Clark, tearing up the court, breaking records left and right. Then boom, you're left off the Olympic team. What's going on? Cheryl Reeve finally spilled the tea? And it's not what anyone expected. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's talk about Clark for a sec. She's been on fire, crushing it in college and making waves as a rookie in the WNBA. Everyone thought she was a shoo-in for Team USA, but nope, they left her off the roster. Can you believe that? Now, here's where things get wild. Cheryl Reeve, the coach who's supposed to be calling the shots for Team USA.
The right decision was made for Team USA, who they're chasing gold. That's the goal. That is the ultimate mission, to put the best team possible out on the floor to go win a gold medal. Why was Caitlin put on the team? And if they felt like their only answer was going to be based on marketing, or their best answer or their best reason was based on marketing, when the committee was thinking about putting this team together, they considered what Jen Rosati's answer would be when asked, why was Caitlin put on the team?
Just dropped a bombshell about what really went down. You won't believe what Reeve said about her power over the team selection. It's about to change everything you thought you knew about how Olympic teams are picked. Get ready, because this story is about to turn everything upside down. You know what's crazier? The reason behind Clark's snub might not be what anyone thought. Let's dive into the drama and find out what's really going on behind the scenes of Team USA. You know how everyone thought Reeve was the one who snubbed Clark? Well, get ready for a plot twist that'll make your head spin. Cheryl Reeve just dropped a truth bomb that's shaking up everything we thought we knew about Olympic team selection. Reeve finally broke her silence, and what she said is pretty shocking. She claimed she's not the ultimate decision maker when it comes to picking the team.
She hasn't had an off-season to train at the professional level. She's been playing basketball since November. We've seen what the physicality. Caitlin is having an amazing rookie season. I commend Caitlin for what she's been able to do as a rookie. No, Caitlin is being excluded because she hasn't participated in any camps the way other rookies that were included on Team USA for the women's basketball side participated in a camp. Other rookies had USA experience. She hasn't been a professional very long, and you have to imagine every other country that's paying attention to women's basketball in the United States knows about Caitlin, and they would try to go out her times 10.
Can you believe that? The coach of Team USA saying she doesn't have the final say? It's wild. Here's what Reeve actually said. If there is ever a time for people to understand that the coach has no say, so in it, this is one of those. That's a direct quote, folks. She's basically saying, don't blame me for Clark not making the cut. But hold up, if Reeve isn't calling the shots, then who is? That's the million-dollar question right now. We all thought the coach would be the one picking the players, right? I mean, that's how it works in most sports. But apparently, Olympic basketball is a whole different ballgame. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't Reeve on the selection committee? And you'd be right. That's where things get even more confusing. How can she be part of the committee, but claim she has no real power? It's like being the captain of a ship, but not being able to steer it. Reeve didn't stop there. She went on to say, I took a bullet for USA Basketball when you sign up for the position. That's some heavy stuff. It sounds like she's been taking heat for a decision she didn't even make. This revelation is raising all kinds of questions about how our Olympic teams are really put together. Is there some secret group making these calls? Are there politics at play that we don't know about? It's starting to feel like there's more to this story than meets the eye. And you know what's really interesting? Reeve's been pretty tight-lipped about Clark's Olympic chances up until now. She wouldn't say much before, but now she's suddenly spilling the tea. Why the change of heart? Is it because of all the backlash over Clark not making the team? Critics are having a field day with this. They're saying Reeve's statements don't add up. How can the coach of Team USA not have a say in who's on the team? It's like hiring a chef, but not letting them pick the ingredients. It just doesn't make sense.
Caitlin Clark has brought an unprecedented level of interest and excitement to our game, and we are thrilled to be able to bring that to the world stage.
Played on elite teams, and I know this might not be your area as far as Caitlin Clark's, and that's fine. But listen, how important is team chemistry?
I think team chemistry is definitely important, and I think there's veterans.
Because the world's getting better. Like, just to be like, oh, they're good enough, they can sacrifice what they feel like would be the best team because they're already good enough is the most mediocre approach to chasing a goal. Why would you not put together?
This whole situation is shedding light on how little we actually know about the inner workings of Olympic team selection. We always assumed it was straightforward, but now it's looking more like a complicated puzzle with missing pieces. Reeve's comments are also hinting at some drama behind the scenes. If she's not the one making the decisions, who is she protecting by taking the blame? Are there other committee members pulling strings we don't know about? All of this is making people question the transparency of the whole process. How can fans trust the system if even the coach is saying she doesn't have control? It's opening up a whole can of worms about fairness and accountability in sports management. With all this confusion about who's really calling the shots, you might be wondering what actually kept Clark off the Olympic roster. Turns out it wasn't about politics or preferences. It was all about the stats, and Clark's numbers tell a story that might shock you. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. She's been tearing it up in college, breaking records left and right. Everyone thought she'd be a lock for Team USA. But here's the thing. The Olympic selection isn't just about hype, it's about cold, hard numbers. You know what's crazy? Clark's first 13 WNBA games were a bit of a roller coaster. She racked up 70 turnovers. That's not a typo. We're talking 5.4 turnovers per game, the highest in the league. Imagine losing the ball that many times in an Olympic game. It's not a pretty picture. But wait, there's more. Clark's shooting wasn't exactly on fire either. She shot 37.3% from the floor and 33% from three-point range. Now don't get me wrong, those aren't terrible numbers for a rookie. But we're talking about the Olympics here, the best of the best. Every shot counts. Now you might be thinking, but what about all those highlight reel plays? Well, Cheryl Reeve actually had something to say about that. She praised Clark's incredible pace and passing ability. Reeve said, pace and passing I think are her two greatest things. But here's the kicker. All that hype about Clark's long-range shots, the logo 3 everyone's been raving about? Reeve didn't seem too impressed by that. Let's talk defense for a second. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, had the worst defensive rating in the league at 111.7. That's not all on Clark, obviously, but it doesn't help her case. Olympic basketball is tough, physical, and you need to be able to hold your own on both ends of the court. So we've got high turnovers, shooting percentages that could use some work, and defensive challenges. It's starting to paint a picture, right? But here's where it gets interesting. The Olympic Selection Committee isn't just looking at individual talent. They're thinking about the whole team, how all the pieces fit together. Reeve hinted at this when she talked about the selection process. It's not just about picking the most popular players or the ones with the flashiest highlights. It's about building a team that can compete against the best in the world. Now, don't get it twisted. Nobody's saying Clark isn't talented. She's got skills that make jaws drop. But the Olympics isn't just about potential. It's about being ready right now. And maybe, just maybe, the committee thought Clark needed a bit more time to develop in the WNBA. Think about it. The physicality of the pro game is on another level compared to college. Clark's been in the league for what, a few months? The committee might be thinking she needs more time to adjust, to learn how to handle that intensity night after night. You know what's wild? All this doesn't mean Clark won't be an Olympian someday. In fact, this could be the fire she needs to take her game to the next level. Sometimes, a little setback can be the best motivation. Now, you might think Clark's Olympic dreams are on hold, but here's where things get interesting. The fan reaction to her snub, it's not what you'd expect, and it's sparking a debate that could change how we look at rising stars in sports forever. Let's talk about the fans for a second. When the news broke that Clark wasn't making the Olympic team, people lost their minds. Social media blew up. Everyone had an opinion. Most folks were confused, some were angry, and others were just plain disappointed. It was like a basketball earthquake. And Clark was at the center of it all. But here's the thing. In the middle of all this chaos, Clark herself? Cool as a cucumber. You'd think she'd be upset, right? Nope. Instead, she's out here talking about how it's all just motivation. She said, I think it gives you something to work for, you know, it's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. That's some serious maturity right there. Now, let's get real for a second. This isn't just about Clark. It's about the whole sport of women's basketball. Some people are saying leaving Clark off the team was a huge missed opportunity. Why? Because she's got a massive fan base. She's all over the media. People show up to games just to see her play. Even Cheryl Reeve, the coach who's been in the hot seat over this whole thing, knows how big of a deal Clark is. She straight up said, everybody knows that the reason why our teams around the league are having sellouts are because Caitlin Clark Clark and the Indiana Fever are coming to town. That's huge. We're talking about a rookie who's already changing the game, but here's where it gets tricky. The Olympic team isn't just about picking the most popular players. It's about building a team that can win gold. And that means balancing new talent with experience. It's like trying to make the perfect sandwich. You need the right mix of ingredients. Some folks are saying this snub is actually good for Clark. They're talking about how it gives her time to work on her game, to get stronger, to learn the ins and outs of pro basketball. Clark seems to agree. She said, "I've loved competing every single second. It's going to be a great month for my body. Just find some peace and quiet for myself." So maybe, just maybe, this isn't a setback. Maybe it's a setup for something even bigger. But let's zoom out for a second. This whole situation is making people ask some big questions. How do we balance giving new stars a chance with respecting the experience of veteran players? Is popularity as important as skill when it comes to growing the sport? And who should really be making these decisions anyway? It's not just about Clark anymore. It's about every young player out there dreaming of making it big. It's about how we build our national teams and what we value in our athletes. This debate could change the way we look at sports for years to come. Let's wrap this up. The Clark Olympics drama? It's not just about one player. It's shaking up women's basketball big time. We thought we knew how teams were picked, but now, not so much. This whole thing is showing us that we need more openness in sports. How are these big decisions really made? We deserve to know. And here's the kicker. This might be the best thing that ever happened to Clark. Sometimes, not making the cut can light a fire under you. It could push her to get even better. So next time you see a star player left off a team, remember, there's always more going on behind the scenes. And Clark, don't count her out. This could be her moment to come back stronger than ever. The basketball world better watch out.